closing the door?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think we kind of find our way to get better throughout the game. Maybe in crunch time we dial it in a little more, but ideally we like to do that from the start, kind of every game.
Right side, front row.
Hey, Darnell, I know last year you guys were kind of a little banged up. I just want to ask you about the physicality against the Panthers. It seems like this year, at least in game one, you guys ramped it up. Is it just a matter of you guys feeling better going into the game? You weren't as worn down, or how are you seeing that physical battle against them?
Yeah, I think obviously, our team is healthier this year than we were last year. Also a team built for a lot of that, the physical edge and whatnot. Our team's not afraid of that. So obviously playing a really, really good opponent that brings that physicality each night, and we're going to have to match that.
Left side, third row.
Jake and Darnell, the Panthers, they love that ring. They come down the one side, they'll ring it on the other side. So when the D-man's going back, usually on the wall, you're on your backhand to try to pick it up off the boards. And they do that consistently. How do you change and adapt? What do you think you can do better? Evander said you'll make some adjustments to come out cleaner as a team. How challenging is it for you always having to retreat on your backhand? And then how can you counter that?
Yeah, it's, we expect it. Obviously, on the backhand's not ideal, but kind of trying to prepare for that, kind of know what's coming, know their forecheck's coming hard. And, I think for the most part we did a pretty good job, but trying to find a way to kind of counter that maybe. And they're so aggressive, maybe trying to sneak past it a little bit. Yeah, but we'll make adjustments and figure out a better way to beat it.
Right side, second row.
Darnell, late in the regular season, you guys had a lot of pieces out. I remember McDavid saying something like, "We're not the walking wounded. We're going to be fine." Has that basically played out? And did it really just take a couple games in the LA series just to kind of get everybody clicking again?
Yeah, it's tough. Playing the game yesterday after being off for a week it's tough to find your legs. Sometimes it's tough to find your timing. So you could just imagine with a lot of the pieces, they're out weeks or months. So when they came back into our lineup, and obviously you get to the playoffs, it's a heightened environment as well. Everyone's kind of playing at their best. So for us, it did take that couple games, and we've continued to build. And as the series and playoffs have gone on, our team, you can just see the cohesion, and the guys that haven't played in the lineup all year long, you can see them feeling better and better. So it's we've had a lot of belief in our group since before the playoffs, and it's nice to continue to grow it now.
Right side, second row.
Jake, that game one looked fast, physical, high execution, two good teams, some bumps and bruises. What was it like to play in that game? What's it going to be like to play in potentially 7 of these types of games?
Yeah, it was fun for sure. Like you said, it was high energy. I think obviously these are the two best teams in the NHL going at it. So it's competitive. You're trying to win every inch on the ice, and tight margins out there, but just kind of playing in the moment, kind of being ready for it. And I think we're all putting our best foot forward. Every line, every guy on our team in our room is dialed in and ready to go. So it's exciting. I think every game will be the exact same like that.
Right side, fourth row.
Hey guys, this could be for either of you. You guys are now 4-0 in overtime, and I just want to know if you can take us sort of inside the dressing room before overtime, where you get the sort of mental resolve to bear down and kind of take control of the game and effectively win the game when it's at its most important point.
I think our room's pretty. I said it over the course of the year, but even the playoffs, we could be up 1-0, down 1-0, going to the playoffs. Going to OT, our room is always kind of the same. It's pretty calm, and guys are just focused on the task at hand. So I think it just comes with the maturity of the group and just knowing no matter what situation, at some point someone's going to get a chance, and it's playing a good, hard, strong defensive style, and when that opportunity or that chance comes, making the most of it.
Right side, fourth row.
Jake, your first Stanley Cup final appearance last night, did that game feel different, and what does it do for you to get that game under your belt as you move forward in this series?
It lived up to the hype for sure for me, just dreaming about that. And then biggest thing is probably I got a lot more texts from friends and family this game than any other. But, yeah, it's a great experience. It's cool. Wouldn't want to be doing it with any other group of guys. They've been great to me since I've been here, and looking forward to keep that going. Every game is going to be a challenge, and especially against the team we're playing. I think I watched a lot last year when these guys were playing, and I think we're playing against a better Florida team than they did last year. So I felt it. It's intense, and we're just putting our best foot forward, and I think we're all capable of that.
We'll take a few more left side front row.
Darnell, just going back to Derek's question about physicality, the Panthers are one of the teams that do it the best. They toe the line. They know the dark arts. What have you learned about that, especially from last year's final, and how better prepared is the team to be able to counteract that and just play between the whistles?
Yeah, I think for us it's just playing between the whistles and playing hard and being physical. Obviously, there's a level of probably gamesmanship that goes on, and that's not just in this series. It goes on throughout the playoffs and any series when you're playing against teams, anywhere from 4 to 7 games. There's going to be those moments, and where the edge kind of takes a hold of the game. But I think I spoke about the physicality of our group. Our group it's a type and style of play that we're very comfortable playing with, and obviously they are too with Florida, and they do it very well. But I think our group also enjoys doing it.
Right side fourth row.
Question for Darnell. Over the past weeks, you were watching Mathias Ekholm trying to get back healthy. What was the feeling of seeing him last night at his second game, getting a tying goal and playing over 25 minutes?
Yeah, Eki's been amazing for us ever since we acquired him, and he's he comes out with a high level to compete. He has such a smart mind for the game, puts himself in great spots to capitalize. Obviously, Connor makes a great play, and Eki has the thought to get down to the right spot, knowing where he's going to be, or where that puck's going to get to. So he's been such a core piece of our team and a leader of our team since he's came here, and we're really fortunate to have him.
2 more left side fourth row.
Morning, Jake. When you were acquired by Edmonton a couple of months ago, you made 3 things very clear: that you're competitive, you wanted to win, and you couldn't wait to play in meaningful games. I ask you, after Game 1, what does that do for your confidence delivering the game that you had in the biggest stage?
Like you said, this is where I've wanted to be. I feel like kind of meant to be here with this group. I've always wanted to play meaningful games, and you don't really know if that's going to come throughout the career, but obviously really proud to be in this moment right now, and I'm just trying to put my best foot forward and help the group. So, I think looking back in a couple months, this will be cool, but right now I'm just trying to kind of ride the wave and live in the moment.
Last one, right side front row.
Darnell, a lot of my colleagues around here have been saying to me, they come here once a year in January for 2 nights, and they come back in the spring and they say, man, this city's better than I thought. You've been here now for 10 years. You're raising kids here. You're from the Hammer. What do you think people don't know about the city that maybe you've learned over the years?
I think springtime's the best. It's one of the best places to be in the spring and early summer. It gets very green. There's a lot of sunlight, and I think, being here, this is my 10th year, raising a family here. The atmosphere, especially when playoffs hit, this city is amazing, and the winters are a little bit dark and cold, but once you get through those, it's a great place to be.
Stanley Cup final could be what you're in for, what we're in for. Describe what this could be, and how do you handle the emotional swings of it, because it seemed like an emotional game last night.
Yeah, I think it's obviously 2 teams that played each other at this time last year, so a little easier to kind of pick up where you left off, and we wanted to get off to a good start at home. I thought we did that in the first period, even though we were down, and 2 teams that are obviously going to go toe-to-toe, and you just kind of have to roll with the punches throughout the course of the game.
Right side front row.
Hey, Evander. Just want to ask you about that physical battle. You guys pounded their defense as much as you could last night, going in hard on the forecheck. But I want to ask you about that fine line between playing hard and not crossing the line. How tough is it to find that balance?
I mean, I thought we did a great job of it last night. We didn't really get too much in the after the whistle stuff. I thought we kept it between the whistles, and we're a team that has proven we're going to play hard throughout the entire playoffs, and just because we're playing Florida, that's not going to change.
Left side third row.
Evander, Derek mentioned the physical play. Your line was obviously very impactful with Kasperi and Leon. It seemed at times, Florida, when you guys got in trouble, they hemmed you in their own zone. They really pressed their defense down. And maybe, Victor, you want to answer as well after. How different is it for a winger on that press, and what do you think you can do better in the next game to get out of your zone a little cleaner?
Yeah, I think obviously our team, they kind of just marked their men in zone. So that was a bit of an adjustment. Have not played for a week. I think that probably played a little bit of a role as well. I think we're going to make some adjustments, obviously, to counteract that in the next game and try to break out a little cleaner.
Left side front row.
Did Victor want to answer that? Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I have another question for Evander. You were injured during the regular season, but Kasperi comes into town. He's obviously making a big impact now. But what have you seen from him, especially a guy who bounced around a little bit and was trying to find his footing in the league for a lot of his career?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's a guy that he plays with a lot of speed. Underrated puck skills, and plays the game hard. And I think ever since he's come into our group, obviously he scored a big goal for us in the Vegas series to win that series. And he's come in and done a great job. I think sometimes maybe you just don't get comfortable in a specific spot. And I think with our team we have a lot of good players, and I think it's allowed him to play with good players and have some success.
Left side fourth row.
Vander, a couple of run-ins last night with Matthew Tkachuk. Nothing big, but you renewed your acquaintances with them going back to Battle, Alberta in 22. Can you tell us what it's like to play against him, what he's like to face?
What it's like to play against him? Just like any other player, just likes to talk a little bit more.
We'll go left side second row.
Evander, how would you describe the impact it has on the game when Connor and Leon get put together?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they play incredibly well together. They read off each other well. They have different skill sets that elevate, their skill sets together. At certain times in the game, we, as a group, like to go to that. As a coaching staff, likes to go to that, and it's on the rest of the group to step up and contribute as well when you don't have them going 1-2 down the middle. So I thought we did a good job of that in the later half of the game, and obviously they're incredibly dynamic.
Right side front row.
Any two, if you don't mind, Bob. Victor. All the Europeans that have come, I'm trying to do something on Edmonton, the city. Many Europeans have come here over the years, and they say, it's a smaller city, it's a winter climate. It kind of reminds me of home. You're one of those guys. You've come from Sweden. The Ekholms are very happy here. Can you tell me about a European guy coming here to this city to play hockey and how it's different?
No, but it's a lot like home, I would say, like you said in your question. I think you have all the seasons and stuff like that in the cold winter, and that's what we're used to. So I think it reminds a lot of home and brings you back to your roots. So I think that's really positive and for the family too.
Evander, you come from Vancouver, and people who live in Vancouver tend to say, man, how do you guys live out here in Edmonton? You've been around a long time. You've been around the league. You've played in different cities. Now you're here. You got a house here. Your family's here. You look like you're making a home here. What were your thoughts before you came here on this city, and what do you think now?
Well, I've had some experience in some other cities that people would say maybe probably don't want to live there as well. So, that was helpful. And then coming to Edmonton's a little bit bigger than some of those cities, so it's nice to be a part of. I think, the one thing about Edmonton is obviously they've been around and in the league for such a long time, and the community really knows how to kind of treat their players, and I think that's something that I really picked up on right away. And the passion, obviously, that this fan base has for their team is incredible. And I think just once you actually get here and get to know your way around the city a little bit more, you realize there's actually quite a bit to do, and it is a good spot for families. And they have great summers as you guys are seeing right now.
We'll take a few more left side front row.
Victor,
Chris was effusive in his praise of the work your line did last night, and just that you guys need everybody. Why do you think it's worked with, Vasily and Matthias and yourself?
I think we play a straight line game and not too fancy. I think we like to work and like to win puck battles and going on the forecheck. So I think that fits into all three of us, and we can read of each other well there. And I think Yanni is a really smart player and unappreciated in that way. So and Pod's just a hard worker, plays the body hard, and it's just fit well.
Right side, second row.
Victor, over here. A lot of guys last night really pointed to your goal as one that turned the tide. How big was that for you, for your confidence, and what does it mean to you to hear your teammates talk about praise you that way?
No, obviously it's nice to score, and at that point of the game, I think we were pretty pressed back, and we got a goal there, and really helped us get back to our game. And obviously it's really nice. I didn't play for a little bit in the Vegas series, so and in the beginning of the Dallas, so it was nice to come in and everybody's having my back and pushing me forward. So it's been nice.
Two more, left side, fourth row.
Morning, Victor. Just kind of piggybacking off of Bob's comment about Chris Knobloch talking about your line. Can you maybe talk about how much trust is given to you and how that feels as a player, knowing that you're getting out there on a consistent shift, even in high pressure moments in overtime?
No, I think that's been the whole playoff run. I think we have been relying on all four lines and all 3 D pairs. So I think that's been a huge contribution to our success. So I think we just got to keep doing that.
Last one, right side, back row.
Hi, Evander. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the mental adjustments you have to make to play with Connor and Leon. I've heard Corey Perry talk about this before, where he said they're so smart, it's almost like he has to catch up to what they're thinking. And I think that goal, Ekholm's goal last night, was such an interesting example of just a different play that an average hockey mind might not automatically see. Do you experience that on the ice?
Yeah, I mean, they both play the game very differently. Specifically, if you talk about Connor, he can really change the pace, whether it's speeding things up or slowing things down. As wingers, it's pretty easy to read off that, and it allows you to get the puck with time and space. With Leo, he's a guy that is so big and so strong, and he can handle sometimes one or two guys on the defensive side of the puck and create space for his line mates by drawing people to him and then distributing. So in terms of changing your attitude, I think you adapt to kind of how they play a little bit, but at the same time, I think what makes you the most successful is when you continue to play your own game, because they're smart enough players to understand the people they're playing with and make those adjustments accordingly.
Go to the nuclear option last night at one point, late in the second, most of the third, with obviously with Connor and Leon. And whenever you do it, it obviously seems to generate instant success for your team. It tilted the ice for you last night. This is a dumb question probably, but it's so effective every time you do it. What's the dilemma like when you go away from it? Because you don't seem to want to do it long term.
Yeah, ironically, we've done it throughout the playoffs, and mid-game or third periods, they have just gone off and scored tremendous at a tremendous rate. Two biggest games that come to my mind, a couple games against the LA series. And there's been games when they've actually started and, they played well, but they haven't scored what you would expect. I don't know. I think it's important. One, Leon playing center just spreads out our scoring a little bit. It also gets him in the game a little bit more. He's skating and involved. And I think it also allows the rest of our team knowing that they've got a role. They've got to play well, and we're not just relying on this one line that is going to do all the work. And I don't know. It's nice to know that when those two get together mid-game, that the results are pretty good. But yeah, it's something that we can't rely on.
Right side, third row.
Chris, you mentioned knowing how good Florida is, and obviously you guys are going to make adjustments and be better, but you guys didn't lead Florida at all in the series last year. What are you sort of expecting from their pushback, from their adjustment as a team that's won the Stanley Cup, that's been in this place before, and knows it's down in a series?
With Florida's team, and I might be wrong, but they're very good at what they do. Their identity, they defend really well in the defensive zone. Their forecheck, they're great around the net in the defensive zone and in the offensive zone. And you know what? I'm sure there's going to be some adjustments, but I think they're pretty confident with their identity, and they play to that identity very well. And I think they have a lot of confidence that they'll play their game and they should come out on top. But for us, we need to, just be ready for it, that they are going to be better. But as for the changes, there's probably some minor adjustments. But I think with the success that they've had for a long period of time, that it's probably going to be a very similar style.
Left side, second row.
Chris, what's the biggest challenge and what's the key for your defense when it comes to defending against Sam Bennett when he's in and around the net? Because obviously he's very good at creating that chaos and contact.
Yeah, you just try and make early contact, box a guy out. There's not a lot you can do. There's some players that just find their way getting to the net. I guess just early contact, getting body position. That's about all.
Right side, front row.
Hey, Chris. I just want to ask you about the luxury of having some big bodies, some physical players, and the fact that you guys are healthy this year and you're not going to get bullied. And just how kind of luxury is that? And the fact that you guys are playing physical, but not necessarily crossing that line, and the importance of that.
Yeah, we have some. We're a more physical team. We're bigger, we're stronger than we were last year, but. I don't think that's a far cry that we were ever bullied out. I think we accepted that challenge, and the physicality. We had some really physical series last year. Obviously, the Florida one last year, and the first round last year against LA was a very physical matchup. A lot of hits, but this year, we added. Obviously, you got Kane being healthy. Him having that presence more than he was last year, Trent Frederick, we got a lot more guys that have. Pod Colson's another guy, Kapanen. I think it's important that not only you're finishing your checks, you have that physical presence, but you're winning a lot of battles. The bigger you are, typically you're stronger, you're winning more pucks, which is important. You want to play with the puck as much as possible. Less time defending, and we got those big guys. They are helping us.
Right side, fourth row.
Hey, Chris, I'm curious how you think Jake Walman's handled playing on this stage, making his first playoff run. He's a plus 11, played 23 minutes last night, 20 minutes throughout the playoffs. How do you think he's handled it, and what are his biggest attributes that give you trust to play him as consistently as he has?
I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Jake, among others. But Jake's game was tremendous, especially, missing Ekholm. We needed guys to step up in Ekholm's absence. He was one of those guys. And when we got Jake, we wanted a guy who's a puck-moving defenseman, some agility, give us a little more scoring. And yes, he gave us all that. But one thing I didn't know about Jake was how many block shots he had. In the first game he played with us, he had about 5 or 6. And throughout the playoffs last night, I know he had about 3 or 4. And, how he's willing to put his body in front of the puck and make it hard for them to score. He's also physical. He had some big hits last night. Nice surprise. We knew we were getting a smart, good skating defenseman, some offensive flair. Guy can probably be on the first unit power play if we needed that. But I didn't understand or knew about his all-around game, and his defensive play has been really well. And he's also been used in many situations. You know, he's been on the penalty kill, and at the trade deadline, we wanted players with versatility. You know, we talked about Trent Frederick playing numerous positions. Jake Walman, same position. Like, he's played with every single other defenseman. He's been on the left side, he's been on the right side, and right now he's been playing a lot with Klingberg, which I think those two have been great together. But get back to your answer, you know, his role on this run has been very important.
Left side, fifth row.
Hey, Chris. 2 questions. First off, everybody good to go after game 1?
Everyone's good to go.
Okay. And then second question, we've talked a lot about your depth. Your depth has rightfully received a lot of praise this season. I was wondering how long it took for you to see the puzzle and know where the pieces should fit with your depth.
I think I'm still figuring that out. You know, we, at the trade deadline, we added some players. But I don't know when the trade deadline was, March 6th or 8th or something like that. And then pretty much right at that day, we almost had too many players, and who was going to get in the lineup. We had to make some difficult decisions. Yeah, this guy's a good player, but he's not in the lineup tonight, and back and forth. But almost immediately, the first game after the deadline, there was an injury, and then another one. And a lot of guys went down. And then in April, we were playing, you know, right now our fourth line with Podkolzin, Janmark, and Arvidsson. They were our second line. So we were relying on them a lot because we were missing McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, among others. So it wasn't until, I don't know, game 1 of the playoffs or game 2, in fact, because game 2, that's when Evander Kane came back, and then getting guys playing in their spots. Well, Evander Kane had never played with anybody. Trent Frederick never played with anybody during the season to know what our lines were going to be. So I guess it was sometime during that series against LA that we kind of figured out where guys should be. Now, going back to that April stretch where we had so many injuries, it was good for us in the long run because I probably wouldn't have understood or knew how good that lineup, Podkolzin, Janmark, Arvidsson were. Other guys had to step up. Brown, really, we needed him at the end of the season. He played really well, and among other guys. So, but to know exactly where the pieces all fit, it wasn't until, you know, probably somewhere in the later half of the LA series.
Right side, second row, Dan.
Chris, obviously, since last year, played a full regular season. Some different pieces are here, 3 rounds. But in preparing for it and coaching in it, did that feel like Game 8 of this matchup here? And if so, what does that mean for the rest of this series, do you think?
I think last year obviously was new, you know, not playing against Florida, you know, a little bit in the regular season, but then the playoffs, we had that 7-game series. You know, when teams have success, they don't usually change things. There's not much reason to change things up because you're winning, you're having success. So, you know, the fact that we were at the Stanley Cup final last year, Florida won last year, it's not often in the summer you're like, we got to do this differently. You know, during the season we made some changes because you knew you have some player personnel that changes and your team identity alters a little bit, but you pretty much stick to your core values, your systems that don't change very much. So, yeah, going into game 1 yesterday, I think we're much more familiar with what Florida was going to bring and their style of play and what we needed to do. But even after saying that, after game 1, we're looking at it and we're like, you know, we need to get better at that. Why didn't we look at that? You know, it was something that we talked about a lot in the previous series. Why are we addressing it now? So, you know, there's always going to be, I don't know. So what I guess what I'm saying is we still need to get better. We're still looking for that competitive edge. We're still looking to see how we can spend a little more time in the offensive zone and stuff like that. So, so as well as we know them, I guess we're still searching for answers.
Last one, left side, third row.
Chris, there was 21 icing last night. Do you see that as a direct result of the quality of the forecheck of both teams or lack of execution? And do you mind those defensive face-off in your zone? Or you say to your guys, as soon as you're in self-protection mode, just dump it at the other end and we'll take care of the face-offs?
Yeah, no, it's something you don't want to be in a situation having defensive zone face-offs because it just takes away the momentum. Anytime you start in the offensive zone, it's an advantage. But I guess not getting the puck out is much worse and creating a turnover. I think it was probably a little bit of the forecheck, both teams coming over very hard, the defense not having much time, and the defenseman usually under pressure making a play that they didn't have as much time as they would usually have. But I also think probably it became one, and it's a little bit of a nerves, feeling out what the other team's doing and where that pressure is coming from, and not wanting to make a mistake. So, it's something that we would like to stay away from, but understand it's part of the game.